So we can see that we've got to get energy from macronutrients, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. But when we're trying to optimize body composition and get rid of that little bit of excess fat around our frame, we've got to shift the body into what's called a fat burning engine, a fat burning system. We've got to get away from the sugars and drive our bodies to where it can recognize and see its own fat as fuel. So the body's not designed to run specifically on carbohydrates. The body needs about 20 to 50 carbohydrates a day, and that drives brain function. Fuel can come from other sources otherwise. But if we're on a chronic sugar burning engine, we're going to continue to crave and think that our blood sugars are dropping low and we're out of energy and we must eat sugar. We've got to get away from that and get our bodies to burn fat, which will optimize physical performance. It'll optimize fat loss. It's going to optimize brain function and how we feel. And then, of course, body composition is going to follow along. So this process is a dual process called ketogenesis, where we're making ketones from the breakdown of fat, and ketolysis, the breakdown of ketones. Your body starts using ketones from fat breakdown, from the fatty acids, as fuel to function on. The two main ketone bodies are acetoacetate and beta-hydroxybutyrate. Acetone is really what's passed in the urine. We can actually measure that. But the body runs very well on these fat breakdown products, beta-hydroxybutyrate especially. And this is where those exogenous ketones may make our brain feel a little good, because the brain likes ketones. It doesn't always 100% shift fat loss, but it can help adapt to a fat adapted system.
So it's interesting to look at this diagram. You can see fats, carbohydrates, and proteins there at the top. These are known as macronutrients. We know there's macronutrient breakdowns in all of those diet plans we talked about. Some are different. But the key is, are we fueling our body from fat? We can do that effectively by eating the right kind of proteins, the right kind of carbohydrates, and the right kind of fats, as long as it's not too much and, again, the wrong type. But think about food. What does it do? Once we put it in our mouth, we start the mastication or chewing process as it goes down our esophagus and it pops into this very acidic environment of our stomach, and then through there it finally winds its way into the small intestine, where a lot of the nutrient assimilation goes. If we eat the wrong foods, are we going to get nutrients in our system? But if we eat the right foods, it still takes a process. It takes a good, healthy process of chewing the food consistently, making sure we have enough stomach acid, and the nutrients go through there, and they get just magically put into the bloodstream and carried all the way down to the cellular level, like what you see here. And if we do everything right, out of the foods comes these vitamins and minerals that make the cell work. Our cells are driven by these energy powerhouses called mitochondria. Everybody say mitochondria.
Mitochondria.
I just like that word, mitochondria. The body will create more mitochondria if we, guess what? Move more. Pretty cool. So if we want to move and create more energy, we got to make sure our powerhouse has enough fuel to operate. It will not operate without fuel. If we can sort of turn the body to the left, making fuel becoming predominantly from fat, we can see fat come off of our system until it normalizes, and fat still is the primary fuel breakdown product, and then we cannot gain excess fat. That's the point. So everyone kind of seeing how that works tonight. It's very interesting, but you've got to be very strict to get the body going that direction, and once the excess body fat comes down, after the excess fat comes off, the body will still operate on fats very efficiently through what you're eating. So first of all, this needs to be converted to this beta-hydroxybutyrate, as Dr. Michelle said. And then secondly, after this gets off of our system, we begin to use the beta-hydroxybutyrate to fuel our body and our brain. And a brain fueled on beta-hydroxybutyrate is a cool, speedy, quick, very cognizant brain. How many want that? Guess what? When we have brain issues like some of the Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, you know what that does? We just don't use glucose very well. Wouldn't it be a good idea to fuel the body from fat at that point? Kind of makes one think, right? Alzheimer's is the most expensive disease in the country right now. If we would just turn this system around, perhaps we wouldn't have to deal with that. Really cool, right? Okay.
So what are the benefits of taking your system into a place where it's burning fat as fuel? First of all, it's going to get rid of that excessive yellow fat production. It's going to optimize our body composition. We're going to see yellow fat go down and lean mass go up. When yellow fat goes down, remember, yellow fat is inflammatory. So our inflammatory markers are going to get better. Our inflammation on our joints is going to get better. We're going to feel better because inflammation is going down. That's decreasing the precursor to all chronic sickness and disease. By moving into a fat-burning system, remember, what's stored in the fat cells? Toxins. And when we eliminate yellow fat, we are eliminating the persistent toxic load in the system. So that aids us feeling better. So when we're eliminating these toxins and we're eliminating weight, reducing inflammation, we're going to have improved energy. We're going to feel better. We're going to have a better mental clarity. We're going to think better. Excessive yellow fat may be bogging us down with that inflammatory load and that chronic sugar burning metabolism. The highs and lows from being on sugar all the time. It's like sugar's like dope. When it runs out, you got to go for more because you just don't feel well. So it's going to improve mental clarity, and getting off the sugar gerbil wheel will improve your sleep quality. And 75% of doctor visits have fatigue as a component of the visit. If we sleep better, we wake up better. If we sleep better, we metabolize better, we feel better, and our day is better. So once we get fat moving and the body adapts to using fat as fuel, the benefits are staggering, to say the least. How many believe that each of these benefits are useful?